The South Korean currency has dropped more than 7% against the US dollar so far this year, marking the sharpest fall since the 2008 global financial crisis amid geopolitical uncertainties and the resurgent greenback.
세계 곳곳의 지정학적 긴장 상황과 달러화 강세 속에 달러 대비 원화 가치가 올해 들어 지금까지 7% 넘게 떨어지면서 2008년 글로벌 금융위기 이후 가장 큰 하락폭을 기록했습니다. Yeah, just a few days ago we were looking at breaking the 1,400 won mark.
You know, it did, in fact,
Yeah.
at one point last week where the won had deteriorated all the way up to 1,400. It
Yeah.
closed at the end of trading on Friday at 1382.
Still high though.
Still high. And if you
Yeah.
compare that to the end of last year, that's down 7.3%. So
Okay.
we're seeing a lot of fluctuation in the Korean currency at the moment.
그렇죠. 올라갔다 내려갔다 이런 게 많을 때 변동이 많을 때 fluctuation이라는 단어를 쓰는데 지금 원화의 가치가 이런 변동을 많이 보이고 있고 특히 지금 달러 대비 가치가 많이 떨어진 상황이에요.
Right. And just to point out, the currency exchange has gone up,
Yeah.
but the value of the won is going down.
네, 이게 이제 사실 처음 배울 때 저도 기억이 나는데 이게 좀 헷갈렸던 것 같아요. 왜냐면 우리가 원화의 가치가 떨어졌다. 근데 이게 1,200, 1,300, 1,400 이렇게 해서 점점점 올라가고 있잖아요.
Sure.
그렇지만 원화의 가치는 그만큼 낮아지고 있다.
Yeah, so it's easier to understand if you say instead of the won is going down, to say that it weakened, I
Yeah.
think is a little more accurate. But it's always relative, right? Against
It
the
is.
US dollar. The US dollar is strengthening because of unexpected optimism in the US economy. The US Fed, is expected to delay any interest rate cuts, as well as geopolitical risks. Things that are happening in the Middle East, over in Russia, the Russia-Ukraine war are all affecting the Korean currency at the moment.
Exactly. The Korean currency is weakening or depreciating. As you said, the dollar is, on the other hand, strengthening.
Yeah.
This is actually, from our perspective here, the worst since the 2008 financial crisis.
Yep, back then it had tumbled about 6.9%.
Okay.
And it's the biggest drop since March of 1990. So you have to go back all the way more than 3 decades since we've seen this sort of fluctuation in the won. And I remember the whole IMF era, the Asian financial crisis in the late 1990s. That's when we saw the Korean currency dip all the way to the almost 2,000 won level
Yeah,
to the US
exactly.
dollar, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
as with anything in the economy, a lot of economists, what they want is stability. And whenever there's a lot of fluctuation and change, it creates a lot of uncertainty and a lot of unease.
그렇습니다. 자, 원화의 가치가 이렇게 뚝 떨어진 것에 대해서 it's a very sharp fall이라고 해요.
Right. So when anything is sharp, it's an abrupt or a sudden change in direction. And this time, in this case, if it's a fall, it's a decrease in the value of the won. So that's how we describe it. It's an abrupt or a sudden decrease in the value.
Exactly. 굉장히 가파르다. 이런 의미의 샤프가 되겠고요. 그 다음에는 fall이라는 게 하락이니까 원화의 가치가 많이 떨어졌다는 의미가 되겠죠. 근데 우리가 사람한테 this person is very sharp 이렇게 말하면 좀 어떨까요?
Right, that's a little different there.
Okay.
That person would be a little more acute,
right.
more sensible. So in that case, or a knife is sharp. Obviously,
Sure,
that's
sure.
probably the most basic definition of the word. But in this case, again, very sharp. Angled. If someone has a sharp face, they might be angular.
Sure.
For instance, but in economic terms here and in numbers, it's an abrupt change.
네, 그렇습니다. 이게 뾰족하다라는 의미도 있을 수가 있고요. 그다음에 뭔가 굉장히 정확하다든지 아니면은 좀 예리하다 이런
Quick-witted,
느낌. 네,
perhaps?
네, 그렇게도 쓸 수 있을 것 같아요. 그다음에 우리가 이제 시간에 대해서는 예를 들자면 8시 정각
Yes.
이렇게 말할 때 8 a.m. sharp.
Yeah, morning special starts at 8 a.m. sharp every weekday, right?
That's right. 자, 그 resurgent라는 단어도 한번 볼게요. The resurgent greenback.
Yeah, so you see the word surge in there, and a surge is a sudden rise. And with the prefix re, you get again, when it rises again suddenly.
Right.
So resurgence would be rising again into life or activity or prominence. Here we're talking about the value of the currency, so it's undergoing that sort of resurgence.
그렇죠. Resurgent greenback라고 했습니다. 여기서
Yeah.
greenback는 dollar.
It's slang for the U.S. dollar that dates back to the Civil War,
I think so.
believe,
Yeah,
when
yeah.
paper money, when it was actually printed in green ink back in the day.
Right, right.
And so people didn't have a lot of confidence in paper money, and it wasn't backed by gold, which it was at the time. So, but nowadays it's just slang for the U.S. dollar.
그렇습니다. 원래는 미국의 그 초록색 지폐를 말했었는데 이제는 그냥 미국의 달러를 greenback라고 얘기하기도 하고 뉴스에서 특히 많이 씁니다. 달러라는 말 대신에 US 달러. 근데 resurgent라는 것은 다시 오르고 있다, 다시 소생했다 이런 의미인데요. 원화의 가치는 떨어진 반면에 미 달러의 가치는 오르고 있다라는 얘기를 이렇게
Yeah,
했네요.
it's resurrecting.
It is, yeah. Here's the headline again. The South Korean currency has dropped more than 7% against the US dollar so far this year, marking the sharpest fall since the 2008 global financial crisis amid geopolitical uncertainties and the resurgent greenback. Let's move on to the next headline.
South Korea's inflation rate of food products has surpassed the average of major economies for the first time in more than 2 years, according to OECD data.
경제협력개발기구 OECD 자료에 따르면 우리나라 식품 물가 상승률이 주요 선진국 평균 수준을 2년여 만에 다시 추월한 것으로 나타났습니다. Okay, so this time we're looking at food prices and inflation.
And inflation. We've discussed this several times,
Yeah.
I believe already. But if you look at numbers released by the OECD for February of this year, Korea's food product inflation rate rose by 6.95%, nearly 7%.
Right.
And if you compare that to the OECD average of 5.32%, it's much higher than that.
see.
And it's
Right,
the first time in more than 2 years that Korea's food product inflation rate has surpassed the OECD average. Right when the Russia-Ukraine war erupted in November or beginning of 2021 was the last time that it exceeded the OECD average.
OECD 평균이 이제 5%대인데 반해 우리나라는 지금 식품 가격을 봤을 때 물가 상승률이 6%대입니다. 거의 7%에 가깝기 때문에 평균을 훨씬 웃도는 수준이 되겠고요. 이 식료품을 food product라고
Yep.
할 수 있군요.
Yeah, this is a business article or an economic article.
Yeah.
So in day-to-day speech, you would just say food. Prices
Right.
of food are going up. But
Yeah, yeah.
if you say food products, the actual dictionary definition in economic terms is a substance that can be used or prepared for use as food. So just in the broad sense, we're talking about food products. That can include beverages as well. Here we're talking about non-alcoholic beverages. So essentially, when you go to the supermarket for your groceries, if you notice that the total or your credit card balance is going up because of this, here's your evidence of that.
아, 그렇군요. 네, 식료품, food product. 사실 이 안에 food and beverage의 의미가 들어가 있고 alcoholic beverage는 아니고요. 식품과 음료의 그런 품목들, food product라고 통칭해서 쓸 수 있겠습니다. Now, if we compare Korea to the major economies
Yes.
of the OECD.
Yeah. So if you thought food prices are going up in Korea,
Yeah.
go to Turkey, where food products have gone up 71%. I had to reread this
71%.
to think that it's not an actual typo
Right,
here.
right.
But Turkey, in the same period, in February 2024, their food products rose 71.12% to be exact. And, Turkey's economy is suffering from high inflation, obviously, and unemployment, and the leadership there has been criticized for mishandling the economy. But it's very, very volatile in terms
Yeah.
of food prices in Turkey. After that is Iceland, down at 7.52%, and then you have Korea, and then Greece comes in fourth.
자, 주요 선진국을 major economies라고 얘기할 수 있습니다.
So a major economy would be any sovereign state with a high quality of life, advanced technological infrastructure, basically wealthy countries. Yeah.
맞아요. 아니면 정말 더 심플하게 rich countries
Rich
이렇게
countries?
말할 때도 있어요. 가끔
Sure.
보면은. 네.
I think the UN term is developed countries.
sure.
And on the other side, you'd have developing countries. I think what's not being used these days are terms like third world countries are being phased out, I think.
okay.
So I think major economy, developed countries, these are the terms to use. And usually these are measured with GDP, GNP, or, per capita income.
Absolutely. 네, 1인당 국민 소득이라든지 이런 지표들을 가지고 이제 선진국인지 아닌지를 나누죠. 이제 주요 선진국들, 주요 국가들을 major economies라고 할 수 있습니다. Here's the headline again. South Korea's inflation rate of food products has surpassed the average of major economies for the first time in more than 2 years, according to OECD data.
A recent study has shown that nearly half of China's major cities are suffering moderate to severe levels of subsidence, putting millions of people at risk of flooding, especially as sea levels rise.
중국 주요 도시의 거의 절반이 보통 내지 심각한 수준의 지반 침하를 겪고 있다는 연구 결과가 나왔습니다. 이는 특히 해수면 상승 문제가 겹치면서 수백만 명의 홍수 피해를 불러올 것으로 우려됩니다. Subsidence.
Yeah. So, an appropriate story for Earth Day, I
Yeah.
imagine.
Yeah.
So, to subside means to sink or fall to the bottom. It could also mean to be quiet or become less of something. But here, the noun form of subsidence means the gradual caving in or sinking of an area of land. And it's pronounced subsidence.
Yeah, I think you can maybe say subsidence,
Subsidence,
as
okay.
well, but I think subsidence, as you said, that is the more common way of saying this word. 치마, 침강이라는 뜻이에요. 물론 무언가 이렇게 잠잠해졌을 때도 subside 한다라고
Yeah.
하지만 여기서는 이제 지반의 침하를 말하고 있습니다.
Right. So this study conducted in China found that 45% of China's urban land is sinking faster than 3 millimeters per year, which doesn't sound like a lot on the surface. But if you look at it, more than 16% of urban land is sinking at more than 10 millimeters per year. So it doesn't seem like a lot, but the effects of it are already affecting human populations. In fact, last year, 3,000 residents had to be evacuated in the northern city of Tianjin. They're being displaced basically because of water depletion as well as the construction of geothermal wells. So if you think that these stories of sea levels rising and land subsiding, it's happening right now and people are
is.
being affected.
Yeah, one prediction model says that in the next 100 years, if it keeps going at this rate, 1/4 of the land in China will have vanished. It will be underwater.
Another reason for this is the building of urban environments with buildings and just the sheer weight of structures and infrastructure actually affect the land underneath it. And the fact that most urban populations are close to either oceans or rivers,
Right.
this is even more troubling.
Yeah, if you think of Shanghai, for example, right next to the ocean there. If you put someone at risk,
Yep.
that means they're in danger.
Yeah, you're exposing them to either harm or danger.
Yes, put someone at risk. 누구를 위험에 처하게 하다 이런 표현입니다. Here's the headline again. A recent study has shown that nearly half of China's major cities are suffering moderate to severe levels of subsidence, putting millions of people at risk of flooding, especially as sea levels rise. Let's move on to the next headline.
The United States is expected to see billions of cicadas surfacing this spring as two different broods, one that appears every 13 years and another every 17 years, will emerge simultaneously, a rare phenomenon that won't happen again until 2245.
올봄 미국에서 각각 13년 주기와 17년 주기로 등장하는 두 매미 부류가 동시에 활동하게 돼 엄청난 수의 매미떼가 출현할 것으로 예고됐습니다. 학계는 이것이 향후 2245년까지는 다시 일어나지 않을 희귀한 현상이라고 밝혔습니다.
Yeah, a lot of rare natural phenomenons happening in the U.S. We had the
Yeah.
eclipse recently, but now we have what the U.S. media is dubbing as either cicada apocalypse,
Yeah.
excuse me, or cicada geddon, as in Armageddon.
Armageddon.
Yes. So there's this big brouhaha happening because of this potential infestation of cicadas.
Right. These are portmanteaus when you have two words.
Yes.
You put them together. It's not really a word, but people will understand what it means.
Yeah. So, I think the U.S. media may be going a little overboard, a little sensational with these terms, but it is a rare occurrence
Yeah.
because you have, in addition to the annual cicadas, these are two broods that happen. One group happens in 13 years and another in 17 years, and these combined, they're saying billions, if not a quadrillion cicadas being released into the wild.
Wow. I thought Korea had a lot of cicadas, but there's nothing compared to what we're looking at here.
So just the noise pollution from cicadas, they don't harm humans. They're not harmful to humans, but I think the noise pollution could cause a nuisance. And I'm used to it here in Korea. It just means that it's summertime, right?
Right, absolutely. 그래요. 매미 우리는 익숙하기는 한데 여름에. 근데 미국에서 지금 13년 만에 또 17년 만에 나타나는 그런 매미들이 올 봄에는 동시에 다 출현을 하기 때문에 그래서 이게 굉장히 희귀한 현상이기도 하고 또 그걸 굉장히 드라마틱하게 또 신문에서 보도하기도 했네요. Cicada apocalypse, 뭐 cicada geddon, Armageddon 뭐 이런 식으로 단어를 제가 지금 제대로 발음을 안 했지만.
Yeah, they're not real words,
No.
obviously. So yeah.
그렇습니다. They're going to surface.
Yeah, so with these cicadas, what happens is that they spend 2 to 5 years underground,
Yeah.
and then they emerge to the surface, meaning that they come to the surface or the exterior or the upper boundary. Here we're talking about the earth or the land.
Exactly. Because these insects, they're very short-lived, aren't
Yes.
they? They only live for a couple of days, as
Yeah,
you said.
their lifespans.
Their lifespans are very, very short. 그래요. surface라는 동사입니다. 떠오르다라는 뜻이 되겠고요. 그러니까 숨어 지내다가 땅속에 있다가 이제 모습을 드러내는 거죠.
Yep.
출현하는 것을 말하고 to broods.
A brood is, in taxonomic terms, basically the young of an animal or a family of young.
Right.
It's not used as often as offspring, perhaps, or the litter of an animal, but the brood is more of a scientific term to describe the young of an animal.
그렇죠. 이렇게 매미를 분류하는 데 있어서 이 brood라는 것은 다른 종류라고 볼 수 있겠습니다. 다시 읽어볼게요. The United States is expected to see billions of cicadas surfacing this spring as two different broods, one that appears every 13 years and another every 17 years, will emerge simultaneously, a rare phenomenon that won't happen again until 2245. 미래 날짜 읽는 게 또 익숙하지가 않네요. 2245년. 자, 그럼 마지막 헤드라인 가보겠습니다.
Scientists have recovered fossil vertebrae in western India that belong to one of the largest snakes that ever existed, estimated at up to 15 meters in length, longer than a T-Rex.
인도 서부에서 지금까지 존재했던 뱀 중 가장 큰 종류의 척추뼈 화석이 발견됐습니다. 이 뱀의 길이는 공룡 티라노사우루스보다 긴 15m에 이르는 것으로 추정됐습니다. Tell us more.
Scary stuff. So
Yeah.
scientists recovered precisely 27 vertebrae from this, what they think is a snake. So they don't have the entire fossil of this animal, and they believed it was part of the python family and would not have been venomous, so not harmful to humans. If humans existed at this time, I'm not sure. But it was, like I said, discovered in the western state of Gujarat, and it's incomplete, but they're
Yeah.
estimating this to have been 11 to 15 meters in length, almost a ton in weight. So if you imagine, I imagine it, a basketball rim is 3 meters high, 10
Right.
feet. So if it's 5 times longer than that,
Wow.
this is an enormous snake. And they're actually saying, like in the headline, that it happened after or about longer than a T-Rex, which is thought to be the longest or the biggest dinosaur that existed.
네, 이게 거의 뭐 5천만 년 전, 한 4,700만 년 전에 그런 뱀이었다고 하고요. 한 15m 정도에 이르렀을 것이다. 그런데 이번에 이제 다만 그 머리뼈는 찾지 못했다고 해요.
No skull,
그래서,
yeah.
예, 완벽하지는 않지만 그래도 이제 척추 뼈가 그 화석이 많이 발견이 됐습니다. 무게만 해도 뭐 한 1톤
A ton,
정도가
yeah.
됐을 것이다 이런 얘기도 해주셨고 fossil vertebrae라는 표현 한번 볼까요? What does this mean?
Yeah, if we break this down, a fossil, of course, is a remnant or a trace of an organism from a past geologic age. Here, the snake was thought to have lived during the Cenozoic era. And vertebra is the singular term. Vertebrae is the plural. A vertebra is a series of small bones that form the backbone.
Right.
Like you and I, we're all vertebrate,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. fossil이 화석이죠. vertebrae는 척추뼈를 여기서 말하고 있습니다. And it totaled, we think, about 15 meters in length.
In length, it's the distance or the duration or extent of time. It's a measured distance here, and we said it's thought to have been 15 meters in length.
If it was 15 meters in width, then it would be very wide.
It would be a very fat or overweight snake.
snake.
Yeah.
그래요. 넓이가 어떻다라고 만약에 말하고 싶으면 in width, W-I-D-T-H. 길이가 어떻다라고 하고 싶으면 in length를
Right.
뒤에 붙이는 겁니다.
It's the longer side of a dimension.
그럼요. 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. Scientists have recovered fossil vertebrae in western India that belonged to one of the largest snakes that ever existed, estimated at up to 15 meters in length, longer than a T-Rex. And that's it for the headlines.
The nation's internet industry saw its revenue surpass 600 trillion won for the first time in 2022, according to data compiled by the Korea Internet Corporations Association.
한국인터넷기업협회가 발표한 자료에 따르면 2022년 국내 인터넷 산업 규모가 처음으로 600조 원을 돌파한 것으로 나타났습니다.
It's a huge sum of money.
Yeah.
We're looking at, for 2022, 622.1 trillion won. That's the total sales for the local internet industry. That was up 16.6% from the year before, which was 533.7 billion won. And when we look at the country as a whole, well, for sales, the internet industry accounts for 13.5% of the country's sales, which is quite incredible. We're seeing our annual growth pace of our internet industry outpacing other key sectors, for example, manufacturing and wholesale and retail. And we're having more and more people working on the internet or working for internet corporations. In 2022, it was up 16.8% on year to 1.87 million people.
In a way, it is no surprise that the internet is becoming more and more important and more people are using it. But then, on the other hand, there was a part of this survey that was also, we're not mentioning it much here, but another thing that was asked was how much do you think government officials, for example, or public officials understand the internet? And
Yes.
it seems like the general perspective regarding that is they lack understanding
Oh,
a
dear.
little bit.
Well, we all need to educate ourselves.
Yeah, exactly. 그렇습니다. 인터넷 산업의 규모가 굉장히 커졌다는 거 이제 통계상으로 알 수가 있는 것이죠. 또 역시 관계자들, 뭐 정부 관계자들이라든지 에 대한 그 인터넷에 대한 이해도를 더 높이면 좋겠다라는 그런 설문조사 결과도 같이 나왔다고 하고요. 뭐 잠깐 언급을 드리겠습니다만. 인터넷 산업 한번 보겠습니다. What does that mean?
Internet industry, meaning all the businesses to do with the internet, to do with online services and sales. So whether it be the place where you order your food for next day delivery, or the food you're going to eat tonight, or whatever items you want to buy, whatever service you want to buy on the internet.
네, 인터넷 산업, internet industry, any industry you can put the word in front of industry and talk about it. like
Exactly,
that.
manufacturing industry.
Yeah, the textile
Automobile.
industry.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Fashion industry. 무슨 산업. And if it's compiled by someone,
It's collected, it's curated, it's sort of gathered
Yeah.
by someone or by some company or by some people. So we have data compiled by certain companies to do with certain things. For example, we have Statistics Korea, which is the government's data compilation service, where we
Yeah.
have all sorts of data about all sorts of things. In this
right.
case, the compilers were the Korea Internet Corporations Association.
yeah, so I think it's useful to know compile with data because the two often go hand in hand.
Oh, they do, yes.
자, 이게 집계한다는 뜻이고요. 여러 데이터를 수집한다 할 때도 compile data 이렇게 많이 쓰지요. 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. The nation's internet industry saw its revenue surpass 600 trillion won for the first time in 2022, according to data compiled by the Korea Internet Corporations Association. Now let's move on to the second headline.
Korea's outbound shipments increased by 11% in the first 20 days of April, compared to the same period a year ago, led by robust exports of semiconductors.
반도체 수출 호조에 힘입어 4월 1일부터 20일까지 우리나라 수출이 1년 전 같은 기간보다 11% 증가했습니다. So semiconductors led the way and overall exports were up 11%.
Yes, so it's very good. We're looking at $35.8 billion in exports, and average daily exports were also increasing by 11.1% to $2.31 billion. So we're seeing great exports for Korea. Semiconductors leading it, jumping 43% in that period. Plus, we've seen increases in automobiles and also petroleum products. Ships, on the other hand, have decreased. So it's all about the chips, not the ships.
그러네요. 자, 지금 수출이 1년 전에 비해서 4월 1일부터 20일까지의 수출이 11% 증가했다라는 얘기. 특히 chips, semiconductors, 반도체가 굉장히 많이 수출이 됐다라는 것을 알 수 있고요. 그 외에도 승용차 얘기도 해주셨고, 그렇지만 아까 ships 같은 경우는 그렇게까지 많이 수출액이 늘진 않았었군요. Did we actually see a decrease, did you say, in ship manufacturing?
Yeah, exports of ships decreased by 16.7% in that period.
exports of ships. 그렇습니다. 선박은 수출량이 좀 줄어들었다는 걸 알 수 있고요. And then overall, I understand we also imported quite a lot.
Yeah, imports were rising by 6.1% from that same period last year. We're looking at $38.5 billion around that amount. So we have a trade deficit right now of $2.64 billion. But exports are up, so that's good news for us.
네, 그렇습니다. 이제 수출 얘기만 쭉 했었지만 수입도 사실은 굉장히 많이 늘었어요. 그래서 전반적으로는 무역 수지 적자가 기록이 됐었는데 보통 이제 무역 수지 trade balance, 무역 수지 적자일 때는 trade deficit, 무역 수지 흑자일 때는 trade surplus라고 하죠. Well, the main expressions here, first of all, increasing by how much?
Meaning it's growing by an amount. It's getting bigger in some ways. For example, my appetite for donuts increases by the day.
네, increase by 얼마만큼 늘다 and robust.
If something is robust, or someone, in fact, is robust, they are strong. Not in the sense of being able to lift heavy things, but being able to withstand, to endure, to survive all sorts of hardships.
그렇죠. robust는 굉장히 탄탄하다 이런 의미가 될 수 있고 사람에게는 아주 에너지가 넘친다라는 느낌으로도 볼 수 있고요. Here's the headline again. Korea's outbound shipments increased by 11% in the first 20 days of April compared to the same period a year ago, led by robust exports of semiconductors.
A new report shows that global military expenditure increased for the 9th consecutive year in 2023, as wars and rising tensions fueled spending across the world.
전쟁과 지정학적 긴장 고조로 인해 각국이 군비 지출을 확대하면서 2023년 기준 전 세계 군사비 지출액이 9년 연속 증가했다는 집계 결과가 나왔습니다. Tell us more.
Well, for the first time since 2009, we saw spending increase everywhere, in every geographical region. Africa, the Middle East, Europe, Asia, Oceania, and North and South America. Who's spending the most? Well, the Democratic Republic of Congo had a budget increase of 105%. So they stood out as the single largest increase.
Yeah.
They're having a lot of conflict internally. It's the government against non-state armed groups. Of course, we have Ukraine and Russia increasing spending, China and Taiwan increasing spending, South Sudan as well, again, because of internal violence happening there. And in the Middle East, Iran recorded a military budget of 10.3 billion. So it's the region's fourth largest spender. Basically, tensions are high. Everybody's spending money on weapons and everybody's getting nervous.
Yeah, and you just mentioned it there, but the big conflicts in Ukraine and also in the Middle East as well. Those are boosting spending quite a lot.
Yes.
And all continents are in fact spending more on military expenditure than before.
Yeah, it's we've not seen this kind of increase across the board since 2009.
That's right. Now, military expenditure is our first vocabulary.
Yes, military to do with the Air Force, the Navy, and the Army, and expenditure means the money spent, the money used to purchase arms or vehicles or whatever it may be.
네, 군비 지출, military expenditure. 그냥 expenses라고 할 수도 있을 것 같아요. 이 경우에는 similar expenses.
I would
or
say that
expenditure.
expenses you use more for an individual. You talk about your personal expenses or your business expenses, whereas
Okay.
expenditure is more about a company or a military organization.
Got it. expenditure가 여기서는 더 적절하군요. And to fuel.
Well, it's to give power, to help increase or boost whatever it is. I don't know what fuels you in the morning, Sue.
Coffee?
Yeah, I think for a lot of people like me and you, coffee fuels us in the morning.
네, 연료를 연료를 이렇게 넣어야 차가 움직이는 것처럼 무언가 움직이게 하는 이게 또 때로는 부채질하다라는 의미가 될 수도 있고요. 아니면은 무언가가 일어나게끔 해준 어떤 원동력이 돼준다라는 의미가 될 수도 있습니다. 여기서는 지금 군비 지출이 늘어나는 이유가 여러 가지 갈등 상황이 전 세계적으로 있기 때문이다라는 의미로 rising tensions have fueled spending이라고 했습니다. Here's the headline again. A new report shows that global military expenditure increased for the 9th consecutive year in 2023 as wars and rising tensions fueled spending across the world. Now let's move on to the next headline.
India's nominal gross domestic product will likely outstrip Japan's in 2025 to become the world's fourth largest economy, according to a projection by the International Monetary Fund.
국제통화기금 IMF에 따르면 인도의 국내 총생산 GDP 규모가 2025년에는 일본을 제치고 세계 4위에 오를 것으로 전망됐습니다. Okay, so what's happening here?
Well, the projection for 2025 for India is looking at something like $4.33 trillion compared to Japan's $4.31 trillion, according to the IMF. Well, this is a big deal. Japan was already eclipsed by Germany, so for Germany moved up, and now if it's overtaken by India, it's going to drop to 5th place. The interesting thing is, if we look back 10 years, 2014, India's nominal GDP was only the 10th largest in the world. So it's come a long, long way. Now we have the US, China, Germany, Japan, but Japan could fall down and India could take its place.
Right. India is already the largest country in the world in terms of population.
Yes.
And now, as we're seeing here, the nominal GDP is likely to surpass or outstrip that of Japan's. Let's have a look at this expression here, outstrip.
If something outstrips something else, it's doing it bigger, better, faster, longer, whatever it is, it's winning by a mile.
outstrip, 앞지르다라는 뜻이 되겠고요. 인디아의 nominal GDP라고 했습니다. 명목 GDP라고 우리가 해석을 하는데 당해 연도 물가로 측정된 GDP를 말하죠. 또 반대로 이제 real GDP, 실질 GDP라는 표현을 혹시 보게 되시면은 별도의 기준 연도 물가로 측정된 GDP를 말합니다. But nonetheless, India's GDP is expected to outstrip Japan's GDP in about 2 years from now. Oh, is it 1 year? Sorry.
1 year, 2025.
Not 2 years. 2025. That's right. This is a projection.
Yes, it's being put onto a big screen and we can watch it. Sorry, that's the other meaning of projection. The meaning of projection here, not like a cinema, it means a forecast, a prediction. It's where we take our data and we can say what we think will happen, in this case, in a year's time.
네. 추정이나 예상하는 것을 project 한다라고 하고요. 처음에 선생님이 얘기해 주신 거는 이제 화면에다가 이렇게 빔을 쏴가지고 보이는 거 그것도 이제 project 한다라고 얘기하는데 네. 같은 단어입니다만 약간 다른 의미라고 보시면 되겠습니다. Here's the headline again. India's nominal gross domestic product will likely outstrip Japan's in 2025 to become the world's fourth largest economy, according to a projection by the International Monetary Fund. Now let's move on to the final headline.
Chinese authorities have evacuated nearly 60,000 people from their homes in Guangdong province as days of heavy rain caused massive flooding in China's most populous region.
중국에서 가장 인구가 많은 광둥성에 며칠째 계속된 폭우로 대규모 홍수가 발생해 당국이 주민 약 6만 명을 대피시켰습니다. Tell us more.
It's very scary, but the issue is that a lot of this area, a lot of Guangdong, is part of the low-lying Pearl River Delta, and that means it's prone to flooding. So when sea levels rise or when there are storm surges, the rivers burst their banks.
Right.
And so several of these rivers have burst their banks. The authorities have called it dangerously high in terms of water levels. And it's an area with a lot of people. There's about 127 million people living there. It's one of the most densely populated regions.
Yeah.
Flights have been cancelled. Schools have been shut. Dozens of homes have collapsed or been severely damaged. We're talking about a serious situation, which is why they had to evacuate almost 60,000 people.
Well, let's look at that first vocabulary, shall we?
Yes, to evacuate means to take people to safety. For example, if you're in your office or your school and you hear the fire alarm, what should you do? You should evacuate. You should leave the building by the safest route and gather outside. In this case, if there's a flood warning or an earthquake warning, volcano warning, any kind of natural disaster, civilians may be asked to leave their homes and go to a place of safety. They are asked to evacuate.
네, 대피하는 것을 evacuate라고 하고요. 그다음에 evacuation 이게 대피가 되겠습니다. Populous region은 뭘까요?
A populous region means there's many people there. There's a lot of population.
Yeah.
So if a population is populous, there's lots of people.
네. population 인구랑 같은 어원이어서 populous라고 하면은 사람이 많다, 인구가 많다라는 뜻입니다. Here's the headline again. Chinese authorities have evacuated nearly 60,000 people from their homes in Guangdong province as days of heavy rain caused massive flooding in China's most populous region. And that's it for our headlines.
Producer prices rose for the fourth consecutive month in March due to an increase in the prices of agricultural and industrial products, according to the central bank.
농림수산품과 공산품의 가격 상승 영향으로 3월 국내 생산자 물가지수가 4개월 연속 올랐다고 한국은행이 밝혔습니다. So we're going to talk about producer prices.
Right. So this is according to the Bank of Korea, which said on Tuesday that the producer price index for all commodities and services rose 0.2% from a month earlier to stand at 122.46 in March, and that's a rise for the fourth consecutive month. So compared to the same month last year, the index, which is a key indicator for future inflation, saw growth of 1.6% as it showed year-on-year increases for the eighth consecutive month. And they say the rise is led by a 1.3% increase in the prices of agricultural, forestry, and fishery products, with the prices of Chinese cabbage and dried seaweed products jumping 36% and nearly 20% respectively from the previous month.
이렇게 그 물가에 대해서 우리가 예측을 할 수 있는 하나의 지표가 될 텐데요. Producer Price Index라고 했습니다. 줄여서 그냥 Producer Prices라고 할 수도 있고요. 생산자 물가 지수가 4개월 연속 계속 오르고 있는 모습입니다. Let's look at this expression here. It's due to something.
If something is due to something, it means it's because of something.
그렇죠. 뭐뭐 때문에라는 뜻이죠. 그래서 because of라고 할 수도 있겠지만 뉴스에서 because of보다는 due to, on the back of 이런 표현을 조금 더 많이 쓰는 것 같아요.
Yeah. I think it was used in the news a lot because it's a little shorter than because of.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. 그래서 여기서는 due to an increase in the prices of 이러면서 이러이러한 것의 가격 인상으로 인해서 이렇게 말을 하고 있고요. 그 이제 품목들을 보면은 agricultural and industrial products라는 표현이 나와요.
Right. So when we're talking about agricultural products, it means an animal or plant or product including any sort of food or drink that is wholly or it could be partly derived from an animal or plant.
네, 농산물이라는 뜻의 agricultural products가 나왔습니다. 엄밀히 말하자면은 사실 여기서 농림수산품이니까 agricultural and fisheries,
Fisheries, yeah.
products까지 들어가야 되지만 이제 이렇게 축약해서 줄여서 말하는 경우도 왕왕 있습니다. 자, 그러면 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. Producer prices rose for the fourth consecutive month in March due to an increase in the prices of agricultural and industrial products, according to the central bank. Let's move on to the next headline.
A new report from the World Meteorological Organization shows that Asia remained the world's most disaster-hit region from weather, climate, and water-related hazards in 2023.
세계 기상기구 WMO의 아시아 기후 현황 보고서에 따르면 아시아가 2023년에도 날씨, 기후, 물 관련 재해로 가장 큰 피해를 입은 지역으로 나타났습니다. Okay, so Asia has been badly hit by weather issues, water-related hazards.
Right. So, I think we've been hearing about the earthquakes that have been going on in Taiwan recently as well. But we talk about these weather-related news stories a lot. And I feel like the Asian region has been affected by these natural disasters and weather-related calamities a lot
Right.
in recent years.
Right.
But 2023 has been a very serious year. So this is according to the State of the Climate Asia 2023 report. And it said that Asia was the world's most disaster-hit region from weather, climate, and water-related hazards in 2023 as floods and storms caused the highest number of reported casualties and economic losses, while the impact of heat waves became more severe. And this report highlighted the accelerating rate of key climate change indicators such as the surface temperature, glacier retreat, and sea level rising, which will have major repercussions for societies, economies, and ecosystems in the region.
네, 이게 이제 세계 기상 기구의 보고서 내용입니다. 지금 말씀해 주신 것처럼 아시아 지역이 특히 다른 지역들보다도 이런 기후 관련된 재해로 큰 피해를 입었다는 것을 알 수가 있고요. 그다음에 이제 뭐 기온 같은 경우에도 다른 지역들보다 상승폭이 조금 더 높은 것으로 이렇게 드러났다고 합니다. So Asia is a disaster hit region.
Right. So when we say disaster hit region, it's a region that has been affected by a disaster.
아, 그렇죠. 피해를 입은 지역, 피해의 어떤 여기서 disaster는 재해죠. 근데 재해로 인한 피해로 타격을 입은 지역 이렇게 직역할 수 있을 것 같은데요. disaster hit, 재해로 인해서 타격을 입은 피해를 입은 region 지역입니다. hazard도 볼까요?
Right. So a hazard is a danger or risk. It's something that's dangerous and likely to cause damage.
네, hazard는 위험 요소라는 뜻이 있습니다. 그래서 방호복 있죠. 우리 머리끝부터 발끝까지 이렇게 입는 방호복들. 이거를 영어로는 hazmat suit라고 하는데요. hazardous materials suit예요. 말 그대로 하면은 위험한 그런 요소들 옷. 근데 이게 뭐냐면 위험한 요소를 막아주는 그런 의미가 좀 위험한 물질을 이렇게 막아주는 그런 옷이다. 그런 의미가 다 들어가 있는 것인데 그 hazardous가 여기 들어가 있습니다. 그래서 방호복을 영어로는 hazmat suit라고 한다는 거. 다시 한번 헤드라인 읽어보겠습니다. A new report from the World Meteorological Organization shows that Asia remained the world's most disaster-hit region from weather, climate, and water-related hazards in 2023.
Protests against the war in Gaza have spread from Columbia and Yale to other universities in the U.S., leading to dozens of students being arrested and the cancellation of in-person classes.
가자지구 전쟁 반대를 주장하는 시위가 컬럼비아 대학교와 예일 대학교를 거쳐 미국 내 다른 대학들로 번지면서 학생 수십 명이 체포되고 대면 수업이 취소됐습니다. What's going on?
Right. So police moved to break up an encampment at NYU or New York University on Monday night, making a number of arrests. And dozens of students were also arrested at Yale earlier in the day, while Columbia University canceled in-person classes. Demonstrations and heated debates about the Israel-Gaza war and free speech have rocked U.S. campuses since the Hamas attack on Israel on October 7th, which prompted Israel's campaign in Gaza. So in the U.S., they say that students on both sides say that there have been a rise in both anti-Semitic and Islamophobic incidents since then. And the protest movement was kind of put into the spotlight last week after New York City police were called out to Columbia's campus and they arrested more than 100 demonstrators. And these rallies have spread since then. And in addition to NYU and Yale, encampments have been set up at the University of California at Berkeley, MIT, the University of Michigan, Emerson College, and Tufts. And, these protesters, they're calling on their institutions to disclose and divest its finances and endowments from weapons manufacturers and companies with an interest in the Israeli occupation.
Right. So we're looking at pro-Palestinian protesters, and the students are saying that the universities are not doing enough to help the Palestinians, or not necessarily to help, but they're doing the opposite, I suppose, is what they're arguing. And that is to help Israel, for example, the opposing parties here. Let's have a look at the first expression, and that's protest against something.
Right. So a protest is a statement or action expressing disapproval of or objection to something. So a protest against something would be going against a particular, a movement. It could be a war. It could be a legislation or a law.
네, 무엇에 반대하는 시위. Protest against something. 대면 수업은요, in-person classes입니다.
Right. So in-person classes it's a class with actual students or people in attendance, with the people actually there with their personal presence or in one's bodily presence.
Right. in-person이라는 게 직접 만나서 이런 의미가 있기 때문에 직접 가서 수업을 듣는 대면 수업이 되겠습니다. 반면에 네.
The opposite would be online or virtual classes.
Exactly. 우리가 팬데믹 기간 동안에 많이 했죠. 온라인 classes, virtual classes. 자, 인터넷으로, 줌으로 이렇게 수업을 많이 했었는데 대면 수업, 직접 가서 하는 수업. 지금 현재 미국에서 많은 대학의 대면 수업이 이 시위 때문에 취소됐다고 합니다. Here's the headline again. Protests against the war in Gaza have spread from Columbia and Yale to other universities in the US, leading to dozens of students being arrested and the cancellation of in-person classes. Let's move on to the next headline.
Queen Elizabeth II's second posthumous birthday was marked in England earlier this week with the unveiling of a bronze statue depicting the monarch as a young woman with a corgi at her feet.
2년 전 세상을 떠난 엘리자베스 2세 여왕의 생일 기념에 반려견 코기와 함께한 젊은 모습의 여왕 동상이 이번 주 현지에서 첫 선을 보였습니다. 사실 그동안에 이제 영국의 왕과 여왕 동상들은 굉장히 근엄한 그런 모습이었는데 이번에는 굉장히 사랑스럽다고 해야 되나요?
Yeah.
젊은
It's
엘리자베스
lovely.
2세 여왕이 이제 코기랑 또 그 밑에는 또 더 많은 코기들이
Yeah,
있고 네, 그 코기 강아지들과 함께 있는 그런 동상이죠.
Right. So it's her second posthumous birthday, and it was celebrated in a major way. I heard it's the smallest county in England.
Yeah.
So on April 21st, in what would have been the late Queen's 98th birthday, it's a 7-foot bronze statue. It depicts the monarch as a young woman with a corgi at her feet. It was unveiled outside the local library in, I think it's Oakham, in Rutland, England's smallest county. And they said that it's England's first permanent memorial to Her late Majesty, who died on September 2022 at the age of 96. And as we mentioned, the statue, it shows the young Queen Elizabeth standing in ceremonial robes and one of her beloved corgis playing at her feet. And they later added 2 more corgis to the base of the statue for the final product. And it was commissioned by Dr. Sarah Furness, who is the Lord Lieutenant of Rutland. Of all following the death of the Queen in September, and they said that the money was fundraised to make the project possible.
그래요. 자, 퀸 엘리자베스 the second 이렇게 얘기합니다. 퀸 엘리자베스 2세. 그러다 보니까 좀 공교롭게도 오늘 헤드라인에서
Yeah.
퀸 엘리자베스 the second's second posthumous birthday. 이게 이제 리딩하기가 좀 어려운데 이건 제가 좀 고칠 걸 그랬어요. 그래서 읽는데 고생하셨습니다. 근데 이제 엘리자베스 2세 여왕이 2022년 9월이었죠. 그때 향년 96세로 세상을 떠났습니다. 그래서 이번이 이제 돌아가신 후 맞이하는 두 번째 생일이다.
Yeah.
그러니까 많은 신문들에서 she would have been 98.
Right.
그래서 살아 계셨더라면 98번째 그런 birthday였을 것이다. 이렇게 나온 기사도 있는데요. 자, 이번에 공개가 된 이 동상은 말씀드린 것처럼 굉장히 사랑스러운 이런 모습입니다. 첫 번째 표현을 좀 볼게요. Something was marked. Her birthday was marked.
Right. So if you mark something, it means to celebrate it or to show respect or commemorate something.
네, 여기서는 기념하다의 의미입니다. Her birthday was marked with a statue depicting her as a young queen with her corgi.
Right. So if you depict something, it means to show or represent by, it could be, in this case, it was a statue, but it could be a drawing or a painting or other art form.
네, depict는 묘사하다라는 뜻인데요. 이 동상이 묘사하는 모습은 젊은 엘리자베스 2세 여왕. 그리고 정말 사랑했다고 하죠. 이
Yeah.
코기들을 너무나 사랑해서
It was kind of her symbolic
맞아,
pet. Yeah.
맞아. 항상 같이 하고 있었다. 그래서 그만큼 정말 이 애정을 가지고 함께한 반려견이었는데 그 코기와 함께한 동상이 unveiled 됐습니다. 공개가 됐어요. Here's the headline again. Queen Elizabeth II's second posthumous birthday was marked in England earlier this week with the unveiling of a bronze statue depicting the monarch as a young woman with a corgi at her feet. Let's move on to the final headline.
An intense heat wave in India has scorched several regions in the country, with temperatures soaring as high as 46 degrees Celsius and causing a TV news anchor to faint while reporting live on the weather updates.
기온이 섭씨 46도까지 치솟고 TV 뉴스 앵커가 날씨 관련 생방송 도중 정신을 잃고 쓰러지는 등 인도 곳곳이 극심한 폭염으로 몸살을 앓고 있습니다. Okay, so this is India.
Yes. And so parts of the country, it's just, it's being seared under a heat wave with maximum temperatures ranging from 40 degrees to 46 degrees Celsius in many areas. So amid this intense heat, a TV anchor recently fainted while reading live news updates about the heat wave.
Yeah.
Because her blood pressure suddenly fell. And they said that there was a snag in the cooling system. So inside the studio, it was already hot. And apparently she said that she's never really thirsty on air, so she never had to drink water while reporting the news in her 21-year career, but she was very thirsty that day. So she asked for water, she drank some water, and she was waiting. She completed 2 stories, and then there were still some others, but she fainted. But luckily she said that it happened while there was this 30 or 40 second animation was playing. So during that time, she collapsed in her chair.
네, 지금 인도에서 40도 이상의 그런 상당히 더운 날씨가 기록이 될 뿐만 아니라 한 TV 뉴스 앵커가요. 생방송 도중에 이제 기절을 하는 일이 있었는데 그 실내 에어컨이 일단은 고장이 났었다고 하고요. 그 다음에 또 그게 굉장히 덥고 또 사실 방송국의 이 조명들이
Yeah,
굉장히
it's very hot,
뜨겁습니다.
yeah.
네, 그래서 에어컨까지 안 돌아가는 또 바깥 기온이 그렇게 더운 상황이었으면은 어느 정도
It was probably hotter
정말
inside.
숨 막힐 정도였다. 이렇게 좀 짐작이 되기는 하네요. 그래도 그다음에 괜찮아졌죠. She is okay.
Yeah, and she said, drink lots of fluids.
Yes, of
because
course.
drinking enough fluids is the most important thing that you can do to prevent heat illness, even when indoors.
네, 날씨 얘기하면서 아까 sear라는 단어도 나왔지만 scorch라는 단어 보겠습니다.
Right. So scorch, it actually means to change color with dry heat or to burn slightly. But we use the word scorching heat when we're talking about very, very hot conditions.
Exactly. 아주 더운 여름 날씨를 말할 때 the scorching weather conditions 아니면은 여기서는 뭐라고 했었냐면 the heat wave scorched several regions in India 이렇게 얘기를 했습니다. 그래서 태우다라는 뜻이 있는데 아주 더운 여름 날씨와 함께 기억하시면 되겠고요. sear는 우리 뜨겁게 달군 팬에다가 고기 올려놓을 때
Yep.
찌익 하면서 소리 나는 거 있죠? 요게 sear예요. 이게 다 비슷한 느낌입니다. 다 너무 더우니까 이 태우다, 타다 이런 느낌의 단어들을 영어에서는 씁니다. And she fainted. Let's look at faint.
Right. To faint, it means to lose consciousness for a short time because of temporary insufficient supply of oxygen to the brain. You could also say she blacked out.
맞아요. 기절했다. 이거를 blacked out or fainted 이렇게 얘기를 할 수 있겠습니다. 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. An intense heat wave in India has scorched several regions in the country with temperatures soaring as high as 46 degrees Celsius and causing a TV news anchor to faint while reporting live on the weather updates.
The number of babies born in the country fell below the 20,000 level for the first time for any February this year, amid deepening woes about the country's demographics, amid rapid aging and the ultra-low birth rate.
급속한 고령화와 초저 출산으로 국내 인구 구조에 대한 고민이 깊어지는 가운데 올해 2월 출생아 수가 2월 기준 처음으로 2만 명 아래로 떨어졌습니다. Less and less babies, especially for February. We're looking at the lowest figure ever.
Yeah, the lowest figure ever for a February. To be exact, 19,362 babies were born. That's down 3.3% from a year earlier.
Of course, it's as you said earlier on, also the lowest figure we've seen for that month.
It is, yep. For sure, and the lowest since they've been compiling this data in 1981, actually. And also, the number of deaths actually increased in February this year. It actually increased 9.6%. However, the results for that could be a little bit skewed because of a leap year. So there was because it's a
okay.
leap year, so there's an extra day in February.
I
So
see, yeah.
that could add to the deaths. That did make the deaths a little bit higher.
그렇군요. 사망자 수는 오히려 늘었고 이렇게 출생자 수는 줄었다는 것을 알 수 있습니다. This is adding to woes.
Sure is. Woes means problems, trouble. So a lot of times you'll hear about economic woes, political woes.
Right.
Someone might be experiencing financial woes because they lost their job, for example.
그렇죠. WOE, S 붙일 수도 있고 안 붙일 수도 있는데요. 고민거리라는 의미가 될 수 있고 걱정거리가 될 수도 있습니다. So woes in terms of the population in this case. Yeah.
exactly. Problems, troubles that are going to surface because of this.
Yes.
Or are, maybe even issues, problems that are already happening.
The population in Korea is rapidly aging.
Sure is, right. So anything, if you see rapid, it means really, really quickly, really, really fast. So Korea is getting old very, very quickly. I do have some stats on this. Korea is expected to be a highly aged country by 2072. The median age, right, in 2022 was 44.9, so almost 45. By 2072, they say the median age will be 63.4. Now, what does median age really mean? Why does this matter? The median age divides the population into two numerically equal groups. So that means half the people are younger, half the people are older. So we're going to go from 44.9 all the way to 63.4.
와, 그렇군요. 그 median age라는 것은 정말 딱 가운데 정중앙에 있는 숫자를 얘기하고 있습니다. 근데 2022년 기준으로 이걸 이제 중위라고 하나요? 가장 가운데에 있는 나이가 44.9세, 45세 정도였다고 하는데 2022년 기준 2072년이 되면은요. 우리나라 인구의 딱 한 가운데에 있는 나이가 63세가 될 거다. 이런 얘기를 합니다. 그만큼 엄청나게 고령화가 될 것이다라는 예측이 나오고 있네요. Rapidly aging, 아주 급속도로 고령화가 되고 있는 모습입니다. Here's the headline again. The number of babies born in the country fell below the 20,000 level for the first time for any February this year, amid deepening woes about the country's demographics, amid rapid aging and the ultra-low birth rate. Okay, let's move on to the second headline.
A survey carried out by the Seoul City government has revealed that food products topped the list of items bought by consumers online last year, surpassing clothing and fashion items for the first time.
서울시가 실시한 조사 결과 지난해 소비자들이 온라인으로 가장 많이 산 품목은 식품으로 처음으로 의류, 패션용품을 누르고 1위에 올랐습니다. So people are buying food more than anything else.
Yeah,
online.
right. And they do say that this is likely due to all the new food delivery services and all the food delivery apps that are readily available now. So this survey, they surveyed 2,000 consumers that often use e-commerce platforms.
Okay.
65.5% of the respondents said food was their most purchased item online. Nearly 60% said clothing and fashion items were their most purchased. So it was a fairly close second, but it's the first time that food's ever beaten fashion.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you've used these online food delivery services.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I often do. It's so convenient. You know, sometimes you'll have same day delivery as well. So, you know, why spend time going to the supermarket, for example, when you can get it online, I guess.
That's what a lot of people do.
Yeah. 그래요. 식품을 온라인으로 가장 많이 샀군요, 작년에. 그다음에 이제 a close second and third. 이제 아주 근소한 차이로 의류와 패션용품 역시 많이 구입하기는 했습니다. 자, 그러면 표현을 좀 볼게요. This survey was carried out by Seoul City.
That means they did it. So if someone gives you a task and you carry out that task, you complete it.
Yeah. You do it. 수행하다, 이행하다, carry something out. And if you top the list,
Means you're in the top spot.
Yeah.
So when we talk about lists, we're talking about rankings.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times they'll use this a lot, especially in England when they're talking about football, the Premier League, who's at the top of the table. So that's the top ranked team.
okay,
So it means you're in first place.
Yeah,
Yes, in any
table or
ranking.
list. Yep,
Yes.
exactly.
And we use the word top a lot. If someone says, "Oh, that person's a top player," that means they're one of the best players.
그래요. top라는 게 이제 가장 위에 있다는 뜻이 있으니까 top라는 동사는요. 1위를 했다라는 뜻이고요. The list 아니면 the table 이런 식으로 순위표를 말합니다. 그 표에서 탑에 있는 건 당연히 1위가 되겠죠. 다시 읽어볼게요. A survey carried out by the Seoul City government has revealed that food products topped the list of items bought by consumers online last year, surpassing clothing and fashion items for the first time.
More than 8 out of 10 people who filed for bankruptcy in Seoul last year were in their 50s and older, according to a recent survey, with many of them found to be male and living alone.
지난해 서울에서 개인 파산을 신청한 시민 10명 중 8명 이상이 50대 이상이었으며 이들 중 많은 수가 남성 및 1인 가구인 것으로 파악됐습니다. Alright, so tell us more about this.
Yeah, it's sort of a sad situation
Yeah.
for many people. So they looked at all the applications that were filed last year, some 1,300 applications. 86% of those people who filed applications were in their 50s or older, and then of them, nearly 65% were men, and 63.5% were from single-person households, single people.
네, 그렇습니다. 개인 파산을 신청한 시민들을 분석을 해보니까 86%는 50대 이상, 그다음에 64%는 남성, 63%는 1인 가구 이렇게 나왔네요. A lot of the people who filed for bankruptcy were also recipients of basic living allowances. So I guess those kind of maybe go hand in hand in a way.
Yeah, they could do some. So they
Some
asked
may,
a
yeah.
lot of the respondents why they had to file for bankruptcy. and usually when you file for bankruptcy, you have a lot of debt,
Yeah.
right? Obviously. So many people said the reason for their debt, the majority actually, nearly 50%, 48.8% to be exact, they said they didn't have enough money to cover their living expenses.
아,
So-
생활비 부족.
so they had to take on more debt. 21.5% they had a problem with their business. Their business failed, so that makes sense. And then very sadly, just over 13% said they were victims of fraud or loan guarantees.
no.
And then that's why they had to file for bankruptcy.
네, 이런 debt, 채무가 왜 발생했는지 그 이유를 물어보니까요. 가장 많은 응답이 생활비가 부족해서였다고 합니다. 그 다음으로 이제 사업 또는 경영 파탄. 그 다음에 이제 사기 피해. 또 한 13%가 그 이유로 나왔다고 하는데요. 이렇게 파산 신청을 하는 것을 filing for bankruptcy라고 합니다. 그리고 빚을 지는 것을 taking on debt라고 하죠. D-E-B-T. If you're found to be something, what does that mean?
It means it was discovered that is what something is. So, and this would be after some type of an investigation, right? So the police, okay, you were found to be guilty of this crime, for example, an investigation, a trial, a survey, a study. When you discover some information.
Right. Discovering some information. 이러한 것으로 나타나다라고 할 때 found to be 등등등 이렇게 얘기를 하면 되겠습니다. 자, 그럼 한번 다시 읽어볼게요. More than 8 out of 10 people who filed for bankruptcy in Seoul last year were in their 50s and older, according to a recent survey, with many of them found to be male and living alone. Let's move on to the next headline.
An Italian researcher has claimed to have identified the location of Plato's burial place in Athens by analyzing papyri discovered in the ancient Roman town of Herculaneum.
고대 로마 도시 herculaneum에서 발견된 파피루스 두루마리의 분석을 통해 철학자 플라톤이 묻힌 정확한 장소를 찾아냈다는 주장이 이탈리아 학계에서 나왔습니다. So we're looking at about 2,000 years ago, right?
That is right.
So tell us more.
Well, this Italian researcher from the University of, I love this name,
Yeah.
Pisa. It's not the University of Pizza, it's Pisa,
Right.
where there's the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So this Italian researcher named Graziano Ranocchia, I think I'm saying that right, I don't know. But anyways, he has claimed to have found the long-lost burial place of the famous Greek philosopher Plato using AI to decipher these Herculaneum scrolls.
Wow, the things we can do with AI now.
Yeah, exactly.
예, 인공지능 덕분에 이렇게 또 정확히 플라톤이 어디에 묻혔는지도 추정을 할 수 있게 됐군요. 이게 거의 뭐 2000년 전, 굉장히 오래된 일입니다. The area was, I guess, frozen in time ever since Mount Vesuvius erupted.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, exactly. Mount Vesuvius covered this area.
Yeah.
So this analysis, what they believe is that Plato is buried in the Academy, and I'm doing that with air quotes. This is a
Right.
famous school that was funded by Plato before his death, and they say he's buried in a private area in a garden
okay.
in the grounds of this school that he founded.
서기 79년도에 이제 베수비우스 화산이 폭발하면서 이 지역이 완전히 그냥 탁 역사 속에서 그냥 굳어버렸죠. 그런데 거기에 이제 플라톤, 영어로는 플레이토라고 하는데 어디에 정확하게 묻혔는지가 지금 추정이 가능하다고 하고 이 아카데미라고 불리우는 그런 곳에 정원에 묻혔을 것이다. 이렇게 추정이 된답니다. Burial place is the first expression.
Pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
where you're buried.
There
And
you
I think,
go.
and I think a lot of people in Korea, especially around Chuseok, you go to your relatives' burial places.
That's
and
right.
do some ceremony.
그렇죠. 묘지라는 의미가 되겠습니다. bury라는 게 이제 묻다 이런 뜻인데요. 땅에 묻다. 그래서 burial place가 그 장지 또는 묘지가 되겠고요. papyri 볼까요?
Definitely not a word you're probably ever going to use. Not a word that I even knew, and I'm 41 and speak English. And
Unless you're an archaeologist.
unless you're an
or-
archaeologist,
yeah,
you
yeah.
probably don't need to know this word. But regardless, so papyri, it is the plural of papyrus. So papyrus is a type of plant, the papyrus plant. So back in ancient Egypt and Rome and Greece, they used to make this thick paper
Yeah.
out of the stems of the papyrus plant. So that would just be called papyrus paper.
Right.
So the way that I understand this is when we use it as a plural, papyri, this actually means these ancient documents
Yeah.
that were written on papyrus paper.
So it's like paper, basically, but 2,000 years ago on these leaves.
Yeah, I guess you can think of it that way, right? These messages that were
Yeah.
written on this type of paper, and then using AI because it's so charred,
Yeah,
completely
exactly.
burnt, they were
Yeah.
able to find some of decipher some of the writing, and that's what's led them to believe they know the place where he's born. Again, we do need to take this with a bit of grain of salt because they haven't found it yet, but
Right.
this researcher says he's found it.
네. 파피루스라고 우리는 하는데요. 이게 사실 이제 파피루스의 복수 형태가 영어로는 papyri입니다. 단수 형태일 때는 papyrus 이렇게 얘기를 하고요. 파피루스 종이로 된 문서를 얘기하고 있습니다. 거기에 따르면은 여기에 묻혔을 것이다라는 것을 사실 육안으로는 전혀 글씨를 알아볼 수 없다고 합니다. 너무 오래되기도 했고 그다음에 자칫 잘못 건드렸다가는 이 문서가 망가질 수가 있어서 AI를 이용해서 그렇게 분석을 했다고 합니다. 다시 읽어볼게요. An Italian researcher has claimed to have identified the location of Plato's burial place in Athens by analyzing papyri discovered in the ancient Roman town of Herculaneum. And here's our final headline.
German big wave surfer Sebastian Steutner has surfed what might be the biggest wave ever measured, standing at over 28 meters, with the height confirmed using state-of-the-art drone technology.
독일 출신의 서퍼 세바스찬 스테트너가 세계 최고로 기록될 가능성이 있는 대형 파도를 넘는 데 성공했습니다. 최첨단 드론 기술로 측정 결과 이 파도의 높이는 28m 이상임이 확인됐습니다. The last time a record like this was set was also by this person, but I think it was about 26 meters.
Yes,
yeah,
yes, that's
so-
right. So,
yeah, wow.
and that was in 2020 in the same place.
Oh, okay.
In Nazare, Portugal, which is a little fishing village.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it's just supposedly one of the best places for waves. I watched a video on. I got in a little bit of the rabbit hole last night about
Yeah.
that. So very interesting. However, official confirmation of this new record is still pending.
Okay.
So they haven't said for sure yet. But if it's confirmed, yes, then he'll have set a new record. He'll have broken his own record,
Right,
actually.
exactly.
One of the really interesting things is this state-of-the-art drone technology was developed by Steutner's team in partnership with Porsche, the famous
car maker.
the car maker.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, Porsche also makes his surfboard, and it's designed like a race car for speed.
오, 그렇군요.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that is. 그래요. 이 세바스찬 스트리츠나라는 서퍼가 아직 확정되지는 않았지만, 컨펌되지는 않았지만, 그래도 지금 현재 측정된 바에 의하면은 28m가 조금 넘는 높이로 아주 높은 이 파도를 넘었다고 해요. 기존의 기록 역시 본인이 세웠는데 그때는 26m 정도였습니다. 그러니까 한 2m 정도나 더 높은 그런 파도를 넘게 된 거죠.
Have you ever tried surfing?
No, never. Have you?
No, no, I don't even like swimming in deep water. Like I don't even like wave pools.
But it looks cool. I
It
have
does
to
look.
say,
It looks
yeah.
awesome. Like
Yeah,
when I was
yeah.
watching it, it looks really cool. But I even get a little bit of anxiety even watching it because I could never do it.
맞아요. 보기만 해도 좀 불안해진다. 지금 레이 선생님이 이렇게 얘기를 해주셨는데 혹시 우리 청취자분들 중에 서핑 하시는 분 계신지 궁금하네요. What does it mean to measure something?
Find the size of it.
Yeah.
Obviously, with a wave, we can't pull out a tape measure, so we have to use different things. So they're
Sure.
using state-of-the-art drones to try and measure this. It's not easy, right?
그렇죠. 어떤 치수나 양 이런 것들을 측정할 때 measure 한다라고 합니다. 그래서 줄자가 measuring tape예요. 자, 그다음에 state of the art.
State-of-the-art means cutting edge. It's the newest something. And usually we're talking about technology. State-of-the-art technology,
Yep.
state-of-the-art computer, state of the art security system, whatever it is. It just means it's the newest tech.
네, 최첨단의 무엇 할 때 쓰는 표현이고요. 여기서는 최첨단의 그 드론 기술을 이용해서 파도의 높이를 측정했다고 합니다. Here it is again. German big wave surfer Sebastian Streutner has surfed what might be the biggest wave ever measured, standing at over 28 meters, with the height confirmed using state-of-the-art drone technology. And that's it for other headlines.